Welcome to this course on linear algebra. Today's lecture, as I announced in the last lecture at the end, we will study the subspaces of a vector space V and its dual. So, let V be a K vector space. K is as usual arbitrary field, K arbitrary field. And V star, that is linear forms on V, whom KV, K, the dual space of V. And I want to study the relation between the subspaces of V on one hand, on the other hand subspaces of V star. And most often we will assume V is finite dimensional. With n is the dimension of it. But this is really not necessary. I will try to indicate when it is not necessary or the statements hold in general. So, let us start with a very important observation, which I will call it a theorem. Let U be a subspace of V and X be a given vector in V. Then I want to give a criterion, how do we decide this X belongs to U or not. Then X belong to U if and only if every linear form E which vanish on U also vanish on X. This is very important criterion to test a given vector is in a given subspace or not by using linear forms. So, and as you can see for this statement it is not necessary to assume V is finite dimensional. So, this works for arbitrary vector space. Proof. One implication is obvious. This implication is obvious. If X belong to U, then obviously a linear form which vanish on U also will vanish on X. Conversely, I need to prove. So, what I will prove that if I will prove the negation. So, to prove this we will prove the following statement: if X is not in U, then there exist a linear form E such that E vanish on U means U is contained in the kernel of E and E should not vanish on X and E of X should not be 0. This is what I need to prove. Now I need to prove this statement. I will underline the statement. If X is not in U, then I want to produce a linear form E which contain where U is contained in the kernel of E and Ex is non-zero. Okay, this is very simple. So what is that we can always, we only have to do choose a basis. So choose a basis Vi I in I of U. Every vector space has a basis. So in particular this subspace has a basis that I am denoting by Vi. And the fact that X is, we are assuming X is not in U. Since X is not in U, Vi's along with X is K linearly independent. It is clear because X is not in U. And we have also checked that, we have also proved earlier that any linearly independent set can be extended to a basis of a vector space, and hence can be extended to a basis. Now I will write, it is not really necessary to write, but let us write it. This is what the basis of U, then X here, and then I will add few more elements. Let us call them Wj, J in J of V. So we have extended this along with X to a basis of V. Now define, to define a linear form E on V, it's enough to give its values on the basis, and we want it 0 on U. So obviously E of Vi, define it to be 0 for all I in I. So that we will make sure that U is contained in the kernel E. Define on X to be non-zero. For example, 1 you can define, which is non-zero, and on Wj you can define anything you like, and Wj you define some Aj. These are in K. You can take arbitrary for any J in J. So obviously this E is the required form. That is what we wanted, a form which is 0 on U, non-zero on X, and so on. Right. So I will use this to describe the subspaces using linear forms. So we will use this theorem to describe subspaces by using linear forms. So let us write one immediate corollary to this above theorem. So let us write corollary. Let U1 and U2 be K subspaces of V. Then one is contained in the other, U1 is contained in U2 if and only if every linear form which vanish on U2 also vanish on U1. In particular, U1 equal to U2 if and only if E is a linear form then E vanish on U1 if and only if E vanish on U2. This is immediately from the above theorem, because you can apply to take an element x in U1 and when does it belong to U2 is precisely the earlier theorem that will prove this containment. Okay, now let us set up a notation. So, following notation is very useful. So, for a subspace K subspace U contained in V, I am denoting U and this side left circle. This will be a subspace of V star. What is it? This is by definition all those linear forms which vanish on U. So, E of x is 0 for all x in U. Note that this is a K subspace of V star. So, we need to check that if one linear form vanish on all U, another vanish on all U, then their sum also vanish on all U, but that is obvious. That is how we define the sum of the linear forms. Similarly, the K linear combination. So, therefore, it is a subspace. I do the sorry, I want to use this circle on the other side. Similarly, for a K subspace, W of V star, I want to define W circle on this side, left side, that is by definition, and this will be a subspace of V. Now, all those elements x in V such that all linear forms in W should vanish on this x, Ex equal to 0 for all linear forms E in W. So, again it is clear that this W left circle W is a K subspace of V. Now we are going to study this correspondence. See, we have defined, that means we have defined these maps. So think of this right circle and left circles, they are maps from, I have a map from K subspaces of V to K subspaces of V star. This map is, this direction map is U going to right circle U, and this direction map is W going to W left circle. And now we are going to study the properties of this map. In particular, I would like to know when this is bijective map. So that will give us a correspondence between, a bijective correspondence between K subspaces of V and K subspace of V star. So let us write down first obvious properties which are obvious in arbitrary cases. Okay. So the first few easy properties which almost need no proof. So if U1 contained in U2, they are subspaces of V, then U1 right circle contains U2 right circle. This is obvious, because if some linear form vanish on U2, then it vanish on U1 also. So this is, I would just say, clear. So it's a inclusion reversing. The first right circle map is, this map is inclusion reversing. Similarly, for the subspaces of V star, if W1 contained in W2 contained in V star subspaces, then if I take the left circles W1, this will contain left circle W2. This is also clear, because by definition this circle is all those linear forms in this. These are all elements in the vector space V which vanish on every linear form. So if they vanish on every linear form here, so these are all subspaces of V, and these are all subspaces of V star. Okay. Further, these are obvious. So now the little bit thing to check is the following. For any subspace U of V, let me number this 1, 2 and 3. If you use a K subspace of V, then what is the relation between, what can we do? U right circle, then you get a subspace of V star, and then take a left circle. Then you get back to subspace of V, and what is asserted is U is contained here. This is for every subspace, K subspace U of V. And similarly for W, if W is a subspace of V star, then what can we do? W left circle and then right circle. This will contain W for every K subspace W of V star. These are simply, they follow immediately from the definition. So, fifth, now I have the two subspaces, one is this U and the other is which I obtained from U, which is also a subspace of V. So, you take the right circle and left circle. Now, when I apply circle to this, right circle to this, the inclusion will get reverse. So, that means I want to note that means U right circle is contains this and then I have to apply right circle. But this already contains U right circle. So, this is immediate. 6 1 which is not immediate. So, this one is, you see, the only thing to note is this, but that is immediate because you apply this 4. If you apply 4 to U right circle here, then this and then, so this is by applying 4 by 4 to W equal to U this, and noting that this left circle also in inclusion reversing. 6 is to this I apply left circle. So, it will so to this we apply left circle, then what do we get? We will get no, I do not want to apply. So, it's so I wanted to write that W circle and left W circle and then right W circle, this and then this. So, you will only get one is contained in the other. I will write this later. So, what did the earlier statement, earlier theorem what we proved, what does it say that, so this one is because this is contained here, equality holds here. So, in particular here these are equal, therefore, all equalities. And the theorem even says, by let me be a little bit more precise. The theorem implies if I take U right circle and then left circle, that is U. This is precisely this is bigger one, this subspace is bigger one, and we have decided when a bigger subspace, and this is also contained here, so it is equal. The analogous statement, this one, the equality here. So, I will just write here, equality does not hold in general. In general means when if V is arbitrary dimensional. But I want to prove this equality in a finite dimensional case. or even more generally when W is a finite dimensional subspace, then okay. So, let me write in the next page. However, we want to prove W equal to the W this left circle, right circle equal to W for every finite dimensional K subspace of V star. In particular, it will hold for, in particular, it will hold for V finite dimensional. Because if V is finite dimensional, then V star is also finite dimensional, we have seen, and therefore, it will hold for that. So, to prove this, I will first prove the following assertion. So, let us assume V finite dimensional, let V be finite dimensional and let W be a subspace of V star, K subspace. Then I want to prove, then V star is finite, V star is also finite dimensional, and then W is also finite dimensional. So, I want to say something about the dimension of W. Then dimension W equal to codimension of left circle W V, which is by definition dimension of V minus dimension of the left circle V, left circle W. This is what I want to prove. So, proof. I will complete this proof after the break.